Hello Raiders, this is Ezra. Welcome to my Deilana account bastion. As you can see here, I just hit day 60 on the account and wanted to give a quick update and talk about my plans for the account and where I think I'm going with this. So I think probably the most easy place to start is let's look at champions. And now, admittedly, I have taken my foot off the throttle a bit when it comes to making new 60s. I've only made one additional 60 in the past, I don't know, it's been like a month of playtime. Primarily because I spent a fair amount of energy getting and fusing Broadmaw, also working on Fireblade, and we'll see why in a second. As well as generally rounding out masteries for a lot of these champions. Like I did buy Kael's mastery with gems, but I'm working down the mastery trees for all of the other champions I use, and that just takes a lot of daily energy to make sure that everyone builds well. Really, my goal is to take that team that you just saw and be able to run it into dungeons as far as I can. And the place to start here is Dragon's Lair. I will say that I got to 13 relatively easily, and that's an important level to get to because it gives you the chance of 6-star artifacts. And 14 is doable but hard for me right now, primarily because of affinity, with Kael, my main poisoner, being magic affinity and the dragon being force. But stage 15 has been a bit difficult. The second wave with the double Lurias, I lack reliable crowd control here, so if they get off 2 hits in a row, I have people that get killed with block revive, and I can't bring them back. So I'm working on increasing tankiness a little bit and getting through there. I think I've got probably a reliable 16, 17 team in me right now. Spend some time getting to here, then finish up masteries and get to stage 20. At that point, I don't want to say have won the game, but you're clearly through the early grind where you just need to concentrate on doing the same thing over and over again. Another neat thing to see here is Arena. I'm right now bouncing around between Silver 2 and Silver 3. I can probably get well into Silver 4 and Gold 1. I'm going to do a couple fights. Like I think this one I would avoid because of faster speed lead. But here's an example. Like this is the kind of thing I see giving a lot of people difficulty because the Death Knight redirects single target hits to himself, so it's hard to kill other people. This team, especially early on, is primarily AoEs, so it's really easy to blow through a team like this. I say that, and hopefully it goes that well, but we will watch the fight, and this is full auto, hands here. And I think an easy way to deal with Death Knight, who I do have on this account, but because of the decisions I made when I started it, I have not used yet. So here we go. I'm faster than them as expected. Again, AoEs, more AoEs. I'm kind of surprised, to be honest, that I didn't take out Jizzo with that one, but we'll see. And Kael finishes it right there. Yeah, so this is a very typical team to fight in the arena now. You have Deilana and Ultimate Death Knight. But with a heavy use and reliance on AoEs, it really trivializes the teams built around Death Knight taking all the punishment and then other people beating on you. This part now will slow down a little bit because Deilana has heals and usually is built with a fair amount of tankiness. But I don't really think I was ever in any danger. So like I said here, it's easy to bounce around between the middle silver tiers here. I would expect to see very similar teams. Like this team is a little bit more built than the previous one. It's got more 60s and more ascended. Here's also a very similar Death Knight team. And finally, this guy's been playing a while because he has the other two unique login champions, but you would deal with this team in a very similar way. Now I'm going to move over to Clan Boss and talk about progress there, because I think this is an interesting one. I haven't collected my rewards yet today, so you can see what I've been doing lately. 2 keys gives me a top chest in normal, which is to be expected. This is an easy. Ooh, that's actually for this account. That's a good piece. That's a pretty straightforward run for me. And then in hard, I can't quite get to night chest, but I'm actually not that far off. I could probably 2 key the top chest in hard, which I'm thinking about doing. That's what I would completely do if this clan would reliably kill hard clan boss every day. But running into this, really the difficulty here is, I get good healing with Deilana's leech, speed and turn meter boost, reasonable damage. The hard part here is I couldn't find a reliable attack down champion, so I've been using Fireblade because she has it on the A1. And as long as you get a crit, you're good to go. Obviously, she is, level 40 and the lowest person on the team, so she dies first. But I could not find a champion that had a reliable version of the big attack down. I can only find her. She puts the smaller attack down on. So that's what I've been using. And I think that will be a huge impediment for this account's ability to progress once you get to brutal. Just without having that extra attack down, I think will really stymie progress relatively shortly. Then I'm gonna go take a quick look at the faction wars on this account, and then when I get to thoughts and conclusions, this is a big driver here. This is a fairly standard faction war level of progression for this account. You get to level 6 or maybe 9, depending on whether or not you can beat the first boss. And this is essentially Deilana and some food, or maybe a champion that I've been leveling for using as a chicken for other people. But especially here's what kills you some days is dwarves and shadowkin. They were introduced to the game relatively later, and especially shadowkin, they had to make the new crypt for. There's really no easy ways to get any of these champions. And so that keeps you from being able to progress really in any of these cases. Like I could build. This is open today. I don't even have any dwarves. There are a handful of uncommon ones that are really not very good. So I have not spent any time in this crypt or the Shadowkin crypt, and I think that keeps you from being able to reliably gather both glyphs or forge materials on a daily basis on this account. So now I'm going to flip back to the Bastion and end with some thoughts and plans for what I'm going to do with this account. For those of you who have been following this series, and hopefully you'll remember, that this account was really about using Deilana, the new champion, when she was one of the limited time logins, and see how your account could progress and how you could advance your account by using only champions that you guarantee you could get. So I have not used any champions other than ones you have farmable from the campaign. Jizzo is a login champion. Haikatoon's a login champion. Broadmaw is a permanent fusion. And Kael is the starter I chose. Looking in my reserve vault, here's where I've been putting all the champions that I get from, I think it's, winning the newbie tournament, from pulling out of mystery shards. This is the other login that I got when I was here playing. And really, the bottom line for me here is yes, I think you could have done this and moved your account to a reasonable level of progression when the game was new. But now that the game's been out for a while, and especially the need for faction wars requires you to have other champions you can't do, and especially like Doom Tower and some of the secret rooms there, this account is going to hit a wall relatively quickly. But I have gotten through all of the new content and the grindy stuff that many people find difficult to do, or I think turns people off when they're new to the game. So my plan is to play this account until level 50, because then it will be into the referral rewards for the account I created this with. I guess you only see on the accounts from which I made the referral. And then give it away. I think that, I'll have, a couple more level 60s probably, as well as you just saw, a vault full of other champions you can build, as well as I'll have certainly many more ancient shards, probably a few more voids, maybe another sacred or two if I get lucky. So I think that'll be a good springboard for someone who wants an account or is having difficulty starting, or maybe, doesn't have time to spend on YouTube and finding some of the other starter tips and tricks. I think it'll be a good place to get going. So that is my plan. I've got another, I don't know, couple, hopefully 2-3 weeks on this just to get to level 50 for my referral account needs. And then someone in the community will get a cool account. This also is, I don't think I have done anything with soul stones. So you have, actually I take it back. Clearly I pulled at least one 10 pull. And it has a couple people here that in theory you could use, like a Spirit Host, and a couple people that, should you pull and decide to use, might be helpful for you. But this is, I think it's a good solid platform to build on, and will give someone in the community a great way to either get further into raid than they could, or try a different account. So I'll have another video ready when that's time to say how I'm going to do the account giveaway and then what is next. So stand by for that. Hopefully it won't be too long, and thanks for watching the channel. This is Ezron signing off.